Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So this video, guys, has been long overdue. I am finally bringing you guys a book unhaul. I have a lot of books to show y'all that I need to get out of my house. I can't even really remember the last time I did a book unhaul. I think it may have been all the way back in December. So I've definitely accumulated a lot of books that I just have zero interest in either rereading or just reading in general. Basically, how my unhauls work is that I get rid of all of the books that I've read and didn't enjoy, all of the books that I read but I don't see myself rereading anytime in the future, and I get rid of books that I've had for a long time that I haven't read for years, or that I don't plan on reading anytime soon, that I have pretty much lost interest in. So yeah, that's basically what my unhauls are like. Also, I'm trying out new camera angles, so please let me know what you guys think of this. I finally have a tripod now, thanks to Stacy. She kindly gifted it to me. And yeah, I really like having different camera angle options, so please let me know if you guys like this, and if you do, let me know, and if you don't, but anyway, enough of the preamble. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So like I said, I'm working on new camera angles. I'm sitting on my exercise bench right now, and I've got all my books right beside me. So I'm basically just going to go one at a time here. And I think I put these in some sort of order by genre. So we're just going to go with what's closest to me. And that would be Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. I read this book recently, and while it was good, I was pretty disappointed because I've heard a lot of people say great things about this book, and I was anticipating it giving it 4.5, 5 stars, but really it was more of a 3-star book. It kind of waxed and waned a little bit. Like, it had a rough start, and then it got a lot better, but then as the book went along, I just kind of lost interest in it. It's not bad, but it's not good, and it's definitely not a book I see myself rereading, and it's definitely not a book or a series that I plan on continuing, so I'll be getting rid of that. And what's next? Yes. The Once and Future King by T.H. White. I've had this book for a while. It's a classic. I think it's all about like Arthurian legend. I'm just not really interested. But again, if I am ever interested in it again, you know, it's an old book. I'm pretty sure I could find an old copy somewhere anyway. But as of right now, I have very little interest in this, and I need to make more room for a book that I actually want to read. So, hence, I am unhauling that. And then this book actually is just a dual copy. I have another copy, but this is A Cavern of Black Ice by J.V. Jones. I have a better copy. I don't want to get it out, but it's right there. But this is like an older, more used copy, and it's just, I don't want 2 editions, so I'm unhauling it. Quick and simple. And then this next, well, actually 2 books, really. It's Senlin Ascends and Arm of the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft. Now, for me, I kind of have the opposite feeling that a lot of people do when they read the series. I really liked Senlin, or as a character, and I really liked this first book. I gave it 4.5 stars. My problem was the second book. I started reading it, and I did finish it, and it had a pretty good ending, but overall, I just did not like it as much as the first book. It's written differently, because the first book, you pretty much get everything from Senlin's perspective, and this book kind of jumps around between perspectives, and I didn't like it as much. And I think the structure of the novel was very different from Senlin, the first book. you know, the first book you kind of get like a purpose, and you get like him actually ascending the tower more and more. With this one, it goes in a different direction, and I didn't like it, and I've kind of lost interest in the series. I don't plan on continuing it, hence why I'm getting rid of both of these books, unhauling it. The Black Company by Glenn Cook. This is a bind-up of the first 3 Black Company books. From what I've heard from a lot of people, including like Alan from the Library of Alexandria and my good buddy Narsil from Discord, this series is very kind of all over the place. Like there's some great books, but then there's also some bad books. Apparently it feels like a very disjointed series. I'm not interested in that. I want a series that's actually good throughout. And so I've really just lost interest in it. And luckily for me, I did get this book for free at my local used bookstore for like a coupon or something. And so yeah, no financial loss for me. So if anything, I'll get store credit for it and I'll gain money. So yeah. Okay, I think that's all the fantasy. So now we're moving on to thrillers. And this will be a 3-for-1 because they're all by the same author. I recently read The Therapist by B.A. Paris, and this was a ginormous snooze fest. It was so boring, and it really frustrates me because I know this author can write a damn good book because she wrote Behind Closed Doors, one of my all-time favorite thrillers, 5 stars easily. But the 2 books that I've read since then by her, The Breakdown was super boring, and this book, The Therapist, was super boring. And it really frustrates me because I know she can write a good book. So yeah, I will be definitely unhauling this. And then I have 2 more of her books, which I was interested in, but now I've just lost complete faith in her. And that would be The Dilemma and Bring Me Back, both by B.A. Paris. I've just lost interest, and I will be unhauling them. I don't care for her writing anymore, even though Behind Closed Doors is terrific. Oh well. And then this next book is a random Book of the Month Club pick that I never read. That would be The Perishing by Natasha Dion. Literally no idea what this book is about. I think I got it back in maybe November or December. I don't remember what it's about. I'm not even going to bother looking it up. I have zero interest, and yeah, I will be unhauling it. Take a shot for every time I say I've lost interest or I'm disinterested. And you will probably die. Okay, the next book I am unhauling is The Collective by Allison Galen. Now, the premise for this sounded really cool. Basically, the premise is all of these women who have had terrible deeds done to them in their lives basically come together and they form like a revenge pact, essentially. That's what I thought the premise was about. And as far as I know, that's what it is, but I didn't get far enough into it to realize that, because the first 50 pages, like, you get like the main character and you realize what happened to her daughter and she's killed, and just the way that it happens makes no sense of like how a mother or any parent really would let their kid be in that situation at all. And I just couldn't, I'm lost. I'm at a loss for words now. I couldn't suspend my disbelief of how their parents, or her parents rather, would let her do that. She basically goes to like a frat party, her daughter, for like college kids and boys, but she's like 15. And I guess her dad said, no, you can't do that. But her mom was like, oh no, go ahead. You'll have fun. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, your 15-year-old daughter, you're going to go let loose at like a frat party? Like, it just didn't make any sense of like how they would have let that happen. But yeah, I really couldn't get behind that silly idea. I'm sure the rest of the book, like even like if that part of the book was different, maybe I would have liked it better. But after reading that, I was just like, no, thank you. I am unhauling it. What's up next? We have Shutter Island by Dennis Lehan. I've had this book for a while, and I've always said that I was going to read it because I really did enjoy the Scorsese movie adaptation, but I kind of just want to watch the adaptation and not have to read the book. I'm sure it's a good book, but I have many more books to read from that is not this. If that's a good reason, I don't know, but I'm unhauling it anyway. All right, the next book I'm going to unhaul is The Whisper Man by Alex North. Now, when I first started reading this, I quickly realized that, oh, I think I've read this author before, and I did. It was The Shadows by the same author, which I think I got for Book of the Month. I probably got like 150 pages into that book and quickly realized that I didn't like his writing style. I didn't like the way he wrote characters. Everything kind of fell flat for me. And I was having the same problem with this book very early on. I DNF'd it about 75 pages in. I just don't like the writing style. I can't jive with it. So I'm probably never going to read another Alex North novel, even though I know a lot of horror and thriller fans love his books. I'm probably not too interested, so I will be unhauling it. And then we have False Bingo by Jacques Jemke, who is the author of one of my favorite horror novels, The Grip of It. I gotta get a grip on it and remembered book titles. But yeah, she wrote The Grip of It, which is one of my all-time favorite horror novels. It's one of the rare horror novels that actually like got a reaction out of me. Like normally I read horror books just for fun because they're fun to read, but that one really got under my skin, and I read it like kind of like in a rural part of Virginia, and it was very dark. I was home alone, and I finished it at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and it got to me. And so I picked up this book by her years ago. It's a short story collection, and, you know, flipping through it, I can kind of remember some of them, but a lot of them I've kind of just forgotten what they're about, which does not make for a good short story collection. Normally, for a good short story, you can just read the title and remember like either what happens in the story or the feeling you had remembering it or reading it rather. And for this one, I can't really remember much about it, so it probably didn't leave that much of an impression on me. So I'll unhaul it and hopefully someone else will pick it up and enjoy it. And then a book that I've had for a while that I have never tried and I've severely lost interest in. That would be The Hunger by Alma Kutzma. This could be a fantastic horror novel, but I think when I picked it up, I was really excited to read it. But now I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm disinterested. Yeah. I could take it or leave it, but I'm probably going to leave it. And then we have a book that I've actually read before that I did like. I just don't see myself feeling the need to reread it again. And that would be Semiosis by Sue Burke. And this is the first book in a science fiction duology. And it's really cool because there's 7 chapters, and it's written in kind of a generational style, where the first chapter you get of people landing on a distant planet, and then the next chapter after that is like 30 years later, and then the next chapter after that is like 20 years later. So it really jumps ahead in time. So by the time you get to the last chapter, you're already like 200 years into this new colony. And so I think it's really cool structurally. And also it's all about sentient plant life. which is very different. I've never really read about that in fiction before. So it was very cool. I just don't think I'll ever feel the need to reread it again. So for now, I'm going to unhaul it. And yeah, it was very good. But like I said, I don't plan on ever revisiting it. Kind of the same deal with this book. It's a YA book called The Knife of Never Letting Go. I did enjoy it, but after sitting with it, I really don't remember too much about what went on in here other than like the main premise of like guys can like read each other's thoughts, and then all of a sudden there's a girl that kind of like throws everything out of whack. And so it was good when I read it. I just don't really remember a whole lot about it now. It didn't really sit with me, and I don't really have any interest in going back and finishing the trilogy. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna unhaul it and forget about it. And then this will probably make a few people unhappy. Whatever. It's an unhaul video. It's going to make people unhappy. And that would be Red Rising and Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. I really did not like Red Rising. And I know people always say that the first book is the worst and that, you know, you get through it. And while it's good, you know, the rest of the series is better. I really didn't like Darrow. I gave this book probably like 2.5 stars, which may have been generous of me. It started out really good. Like part 1 was like 50 pages. I was into it. And then you get to the premise. I thought it was stupid. I really didn't like Darrow. I didn't care about anything that happened in here. But everybody and their mother told me that Golden Sun would be much better. Much better. And I got like 100 pages into this, and I got to a scene where Darrow was fighting this dude, and I realized I just don't care. I don't care about Darrow or any other crap that's happening in this series. And I know that's going to make a lot of people mad, but that's how I feel. I can't like everything. You can't like everything. Deal with it. So yeah, essentially I'm getting rid of these books because fuck Darrow. Oh, man. And then we have kind of a sad pick here. But that would be what's it called? Divinity's Twilight by Christopher Russell. Now, this book is extra sad because I tried reading this and I couldn't quite get into it. And I actually bought this book like from the author. He's like a local author. And he was a very cool dude. I went to a book signing at like my local used bookstore. And he signed my book and everything. And he's very nice to talk to. He said, to Jake, my fellow Sander fan, because he likes Brandon Sanderson too. So yeah, he's a cool dude, Christopher Russell, but I couldn't get into it. It's very heavily like military fantasy and sci-fi. And that's not really my thing. It was, you know, for like, I think this is a debut. So for a debut, it's readable, but I couldn't get into it, and I feel bad because, you know, got it personalized and everything, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel bad about that one, but it's okay. And then we have some other books here. We have The Manchurian Candidate, which I think this is the book that I've had the longest without ever having read it before. I have no excuses. Like, I literally had this book for probably 5 or 6 years at this point, and it's just like, are you ever going to read it? Probably not, so time to get rid of it. And then we have some classics here that I don't read a lot of classics. If y'all watch my channel, y'all know I don't read a lot of classics. We have Gulliver's Travels. Nah. We have The Tale of Two Cities. No. And then we have The Invisible Man. No. And actually, funny enough, for one of my, there was like a challenge video or something, I had to like write in a book. So I wrote, Bookish Drummer was here. So that'll be a fun surprise for anyone who picks that up in the future when I have 50 billion subscribers. And then we have a couple more books here that are just random. The Nice Guys, by someone, I don't know. But I saw the movie years ago and I enjoyed it. And I thought, oh, maybe I could read the book and then rewatch the movie. But I don't. And then we have a really random Joyce Carol Oates book, The Triumph of the Spider Monkey. I literally bought this book because of the cover and the title. And I still don't know what this book is about. I will never know what this book is about. And I'm going to get rid of it. That's all. And then we have one book that maybe some of y'all have read. It seems fairly popular, but I'm not a big historical fiction fan, I don't think. Unless it's Taylor Jenkins Reid, of course. But yeah, it's The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Probably butchered that name, but okay. Yeah, Shadow of the Wind is supposed to be a very good, like, historical fiction quartet, I believe. And I'm not a huge fan of historical fiction, let alone like a historical fiction series that I'd have to read like 4 books from. So yeah, even though this is probably a great book, maybe I would enjoy it, I really don't have any interest in it. So get rid of that. And I believe that's it. Those are all of the books that I will be unhauling. Yeah. Please let me know if you guys have read any of these books. Tell me what you thought of them, whether you loved them, whether you hated them, whether you thought they were kind of meh, just a little meh. Anyway, let me know what you thought about them down in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and the Bookish Drummer Discord. And if you'd like to further support me, go check out my Patreon page and see what that's all about. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and have a terrific day.